Welcome to Gunz Bunz, the podcast that celebrates strong, successful women. If you enjoy empowering stories, be sure to like and subscribe to our Gunz and Rollz fitness channel for more inspiring episodes like this one. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Gunz and Bunz Podcast for behind-the-scenes content, updates, and more. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I would like to welcome Aisha Stack, a passionate online health coach, certified personal trainer, and fitness director who wears many hats, including wife and proud mom of 3. With certifications in health coaching, group fitness, and nutrition, she brings a well-rounded and empowering approach to women's wellness. Recently earning her status as a Pro Natural Bodybuilder in the wellness division, she's no stranger to dedication and discipline. Beyond the gym, she's a lover of travel, whether it's a local road trip or an international adventure, and believes in the magic of a good meal, great laughs, and the occasional pizza indulgence. When she's not coaching or chasing her goals, she's sharpening her Spanish skills and diving into Japanese and French. Her mission? To help women find their health, own their power, and live boldly. Welcome, Aisha.
Thank you.
I'm happy to have you today.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. So can you begin today by just telling our guests a little bit about your background, how you grew up, and then maybe how that background shaped who you are today?
So I am originally from the good old state of South Carolina, where I grew up, was raised pretty much until I left college. Okay. My background, especially in my home, was I was the eater of my house. Okay. So my mom, I always say, the reason she went grocery shopping was purely because of me and not my other siblings. So I always loved food, but I always loved what it brought. Mm-hmm. And within that, as I grew up, how it relates to today is that one of the biggest things I was like, I know I'm going to eat, but I need to make sure that I make eating work for me. And then adding on to fitness. So always into something, whether it was band or whether it was track or whatever it was. And that's what I loved. And then when I went off to college, y'all, my college had the best food plan known to man. We had restaurants from everywhere. And I said to myself, because I knew myself, I said, you either got to figure out how to exercise in college or you won't be able to fit into your clothes. And I was a college student and I had no money for a new wardrobe. Mm-hmm. And so I went to my gym, which was the first time I ever been to an actual gym. And then I got started with group exercise. And so that was probably what set it off, in that group exercise, nutrition, all those things became an integral part of my life. And I've been doing it ever since then.
Okay. Wow. So let's back up a little bit to college. So where did you attend college?
University of South Carolina.
Ooh. Oh man, we talk about this in our house. Gamecocks or Clemson?
Well, my husband is Clemson.
Oh,
so,
yes,
it's always fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So house divided. That's awesome. So you went to USC, and then, so your major would have been, was it in the health and fitness industry then?
It was pre-med. Okay. I was pre-med, and I had a minor in Spanish, which throughout my college career, I actually changed to a major in Spanish because I love the language so much. Okay. And still taking all the sciences required for a medical degree eventually.
Okay. So what was the intrigue with the foreign language?
My Spanish teacher in high school was wonderful. She was from Spain, and we all loved class. Like, we would go in there, we would have, like, some days she would have food from Spain or Latin America. Some days we would just dance all class. And so we got to learn about a lot of the culture and just the day-to-day of a Spaniard or someone from Latin America. And she just made the language very real to us. Awesome. And so when I got to see different parts of it, when I went to college, I said, hey, I don't want to call it a rebel. I'm definitely not a rebel. But I said, I don't want to major in biology. Well, that was my first major. Hated it. It's like, this is not it. And so I was like, I can still major in Spanish because it was my minor and take all the classes that I needed. And so that's what I did. Awesome. And I loved it. I ended up studying abroad as well.
I was going to ask that because usually if you do that, you study abroad.
You study abroad.
Awesome. So you went to Spain? I
went to Spain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so when I was in high school, I learned about all the architecture, especially in Barcelona. Nice. So I ended up going to Spain and staying there for a few months and just fell in love with Europe. just fell in love.
So that probably is what incited the whole travel, like.
Oh yeah, well, I love to travel ever since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
This is something that has been always something that I loved.
Yeah.
I always was a good student, but I definitely, if there was a goal to get there through grades, I got there, and I got to travel to DC and to Virginia and just all across kind of the U.S., California. Because of my academics or whatnot.
Awesome.
And it was usually all paid for. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So when I got to college, I got the opportunity to go, and I won a scholarship. So it was all paid for as well. And I loved it. I loved every second.
Was that a full year?
No, it was just a few months. It was a semester.
Okay. Nice.
It was just a semester. I do wish I had stayed longer, but I had to graduate.
Yeah.
And they recommend, or you cannot go the last semester of your graduation. So if I had stayed a full year, I would have had to graduate a full semester later. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you graduate from college, and then your career. Tell us a little bit how you got into, like, what was your next step after college?
Well, I got married the month after I graduated,
nice.
Immediately. And then I moved to the lovely state of Ohio. So my life changed a lot after that. And so as far as my career, at that point, I just felt led that I was not supposed to go into the medical path, but I still had my exercise.
Nice.
So when we moved to Ohio, I promptly found a job at a gym. I started teaching again. And then I always loved kids. So I started working at a daycare that was linked to my church.
Okay.
And so I had a fun time in the toddler class. That's like my favorite age. I love me some toddlers. So I started working there and kind of worked my way up until I was the director of the daycare and the preschool. And so that's what I did for the next 4 years until we came back down south.
Okay. Wonderful. So a few questions about all of that. So did you guys move to Ohio because of jobs originally for like your husband?
It was his job. He was already in Ohio.
Okay.
So it was like, I knew I was going to go with him to Ohio. So,
all right. So to back up a little bit, how did you meet, if you don't mind saying that? You're at different colleges.
Oh, we were at different, we met in high school.
Okay.
We met when I was in middle school and he was in high school.
Oh, wow.
Because at our school, we could run track in middle school for the high school.
Oh, wow.
And so I ran track as an 8th grader and he was already in high school.
Okay.
And so that's how we met. But we were just like acquaintances at best.
Yeah.
And then my junior year, he randomly called me on a like snowy night. Literally, this is the story. His father was driving and it was hydroplaning and it was crazy outside. And my name starts with an A. And the first A name didn't pick up, and the second one did, and I was her. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
it's a whole thing. And so I picked up, and we literally talked all night long. And then I don't know, maybe a few weeks later, he came home and we went on a date, which is amazing because my mom does not. Well, at the time, she did not let me date. But then he met her, and he just talked to her. And she loved him. Yeah. And so we went on a date. And then 5 years later, we got married as soon as I graduated.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
All right. So another question I had, because you were saying something about like you were doing the daycare, the director thing.
Yep.
But then were you still doing like the group fitness classes on the side? Is that okay?
Yeah. I did that most days of the week.
And what types of classes were you doing?
Oh, man, it got very interesting. So I always loved what made me fall in love with group exercise was kickboxing and then Zumba. At that time, Zumba was very new.
Yes.
And like I said, I had loved everything Spanish whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so Latin dancing was something that I started doing in college and would do like 4 days a week. It was something I loved. And so when I got to Ohio, I continued to teach Zumba, kickboxing. I taught like Pilates. I taught everything except yoga.
Okay.
I taught like a drums class where we would have sticks and we would drum on like exercise balls. So much fun. It was so much fun. Yeah. But they had the most craziest classes. It was just like whatever you can think of. I taught a burlesque class.
Oh my goodness.
That was interesting with exercise clothes on. But it was it was like fitness meets burlesque. It was very interesting, but it was just fun. It was just a lot of fun.
So the facility you were at is the one that came up with these creative like classes. Yeah. So then as a fitness instructor, like how deep do you have to go into like developing like your routine for that? Like, again, like I know you're certified and you have that background, but again, like each one is so different in its own right. Different. So how much research did you have to do to like be well-versed in teaching that group?
Well, I guess with the drums classes, it was already it wasn't a certification, but it was like they had videos saying this is how you can do it out. So I just kind of watched the videos and studied them and said, okay, I want to do this to this song. Yeah. But it was like a general, just kind of Zumba. You have those core movements or you have those core movement patterns and you kind of build on that. With the burlesque class, it was like, I don't even know. I don't even remember. They were just like, you want to do this? And I was like, sure. At that time, I was like, any classes that you come up with, I pretty much can do. And I was just like, how fun will it be just to do these things? And, we're incorporating squats or push-ups or whatever it is. So again, it's fitness. It's just like the lights are dim and you can be very silly with it. And it was just a fun time. So really, it was just me in my own head thinking of songs. And one of the things I do with my participants on any class, I say, listen, if it's a free reigning class, if you have a song that you love that you just get into, just let me know. And we can play it as long as it's not too crazy. And so I did a lot of that. Say, hey, what song makes you want to just hug your hubby? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I'm like, we're going to go with that. We would put pictures of our husbands on like the chairs. I was like, it was a whole thing. And it was just so much fun.
So fun. Yeah. I even dabbled in some Zumba back in the day when I was living in Florida. Because 24-Hour Fitness at the time was offering like free memberships for teachers. Oh. And so my friend and I would go often. It was a lot of fun. I am not coordinated at all. And I'd see myself, I'm like, I cannot do this. But that's pretty cool. Yeah. Do you do anything like that today? Like as far as like group fitness classes, are you still doing it on the daily basis? Do you want to speak
I teach
to that now?
A couple of times a week.
Okay.
So right now I teach like an athletic conditioning class. Okay. So just running, a lot of weight training, stuff like that. Which I love because it's kind of free reign, but it is a higher intensity class. So the crazy things my mind conjures up, like we should do this. I can do within that class because it's the participants who come, they know that it's going to be intense. They know there's maybe plyometrics, that it may be a lot of burpees. It's going to be running, like we're sprinting. It's very, very movement oriented. And ultimately we're training it like an athlete. So you just never know what may come out. Today may be a football training, even though I don't play football. Yeah. But my inspiration may come from that. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have like do these classes attract a certain clientele? Is it mostly women? Do you have men in some of those classes? Like it's a wide range of people.
Yeah, it just depends on their fitness level. Like I have one guy, he is 82 years old that he's in the class in incredible shape. Yeah. Incredible shape. And then I have moms who drop their kids off at childcare and they're like, I need a higher intensity workout because I may only be here 3 days a week, 2 days a week. So it just depends on the person, but chances are they're going to be pretty I don't have any, if someone's just coming to the gym or just starting their workout journey, I discourage them from coming to my class because it can be discouraging because it's so high intensity. Yes. I said, okay, there are classes that you can
like beginner level.
Yeah. Just kind of sail into versus die. Yeah. You know what I mean? Unless they're like, I was an athlete back in the day and I love death and I want to come to your class. Okay. But there's many different levels and I always give options because you have injuries or you have things that aggravate you. But I always tell them, I was like, listen, this class is running and weight training. That's the premise of it. Okay. So if you don't want to run and you don't want to weight train, this is not a good class for you.
Do you mind saying where you train people at?
No, I train for the Charlotte YMCA. So primarily at like the Harris Y, but I can teach at any Y.
Okay. Interesting. Love that. All right. So let's speak about a day in the life of training because I saw in your bio, you were talking about how you're an online health coach. Yeah. I have some questions about that as well, that you're a certified personal trainer and then the fitness director piece. So can you speak to online health coach and how do you get your clientele? Is it word of mouth? Like tell us a little bit about how that whole program or what you do there is structured, please.
So with the health coaching, I do that is exclusively online because I have so many clients that are just within the U.S. and just everywhere. Nice. So most of it is word of mouth. I do have, social media and things like that, but usually it's just, hey, my friend needs help with nutrition. They need help with mindset. They need help with this or that. And I just give them, talk with them. So first, usually if someone says, hey, I want to see, if this will help me out, we have a conversation. And we just talk about what the program is. So generally my programs run from 4 to 6 months at a time. And what we do is we'll have a few coaching sessions a month, and then we'll have homework every time we have a coaching session. So it's a lot of follow-up, a lot of accountability. But what I find is I do have just purely personal training clients, but oftentimes it's not the exercise that gets us down or that's hard to come by. It's the actual nutrition and mindset, especially with my clientele. I work with a lot of moms and women, and it's just like, I'm too busy, or I just took that, Cheez-It off my kids' plate and it doesn't count. It does count. But understanding the why we do those type of things, how we get down there. So it's a lot of talking and digging a little bit deeper than people may realize. Because I'm like, exercise is just not exercise. We need to figure out your why you're doing it, or why you can't do it, or why you think you can't do it. So we do a lot of that. I mean,
almost like
most of my
therapist.
sessions. It's therapy. It definitely is. Right? We cry a lot. We pray a lot. It's a lot of just digging a little deeper to figure out, because oftentimes, like I said, it's not just surface. It's not just, well, I don't feel like working out. It's like, why don't you feel like it? What's going on? It could be stress. It could be work. It could be just, I've never done anything like this. It could be fear. There's so much more than just, hey, let me just eat right and then go exercise.
Right.
It's a mindset shift. And that's why, it's at least 4 months, if not longer, which I say, hey, I give 4 months because I want you to get just a baseline, and then we can add on from there.
Right.
So yeah, that's mostly what the health coaching online is.
Yeah. I would say that's probably my biggest. I mean, my entire life has always been, everything is surrounds food, right? Like even going back to what you're saying, your past, like you love to eat, right? Who doesn't? And like every celebration, every time you're upset, every time you're bored, like whatever, like food is the first thing that comes to mind, right? And it's just
all things.
shifting that mindset, right? Like, I like how you said, figure out the why. What is a homework piece kind of like? Does it depend on?
It depends on the person.
Yep.
But so say, for example, if someone said, hey, Aisha, man, I went to this party and I just had the cake and I had the wings and I had this and I had that. So some of the homework will be, okay, if I'm going to this place, what are my expectations? Do I decide that I'm going to partake in it? And if I do I accept the consequences of it? And so just having that preliminary conversation with yourself can change your mindset around it. I like to tell a lot of people, I have one particular, actually my sister, I talk to her a lot about food and things. I said, you know what Bojangles taste like. You already know what it tastes like. You've had it your whole life. We've lived in the South our whole life. Will it taste any different if you get it today? Will it taste better than hitting your goals? And that's a lot of things that we just talk about. And so if you're going out, if you're having that, it's just like, okay, let's talk about what can happen if you do or you don't. Okay. And how are you going to feel afterwards? Because the biggest thing is you go, you do all the things, you come back and you say, well, I messed up. Might as well keep going. Yeah. And then it turns into a snowball effect. So catching you before. And so that may be homework for that week if you're going out to a party. And so homework for another week can be, all right, you're stressing because of, I don't know, your kid's upcoming, whatever it is. How can we get help so that you don't stress as much? Or if, like, I'm talking to a mom and she's doing all the things, but she has a spouse and a mom who lives right next door. Hey, why don't you give some of that to them? Or if you say, I can't work out because my child is sick. Well, you have family that can do that. And what's 30 minutes? What's 30 minutes going to do? And if their children are anything like my children, when they're sick, it's like they're sick for like 2 seconds and then they're up bouncing around, even if they don't feel the best, right? But prioritizing yourself and knowing that, hey, I can make an excuse that, I'm tired or whatever. But the excuses will always be there. It's just, are you going to conquer them or are you going to let them conquer you? And then I always remind them of what their goal is. Like, this is your goal. Is it going to get you towards your goal or away from your goal? And so you have to decide.
Okay. So going back to that timeline, because I was thinking like in my mind, an online health coach, I'm thinking like it's almost like the man or woman behind the curtain, right? That's orchestrating everything, right? And so do you talk to them daily if they need it, or is this more throughout that 4 to 6 month period? Because I would think like I would need someone like you on a bad day. Like maybe you are that accountability partner that I can just reach out to when I'm thinking I'm going to have a bad cheat meal, you know what I mean? Or I'm going to fall off of my track, right?
Yeah.
So you do keep up with them. You try to as
so
much as
they
you
have
can?
access to me at all times.
Okay.
I tell them that I go to bed at like 9 o'clock. So if you contact me after that, I'm not going to be available, but I will call you in the morning.
Nice.
But no. So we have our sit downs, a few times a month,
Okay.
but then they have access to me all the time. And it's constant communication. It's emailing, sending out maybe a newsletter I have for that week or just encouragement. I thank the Lord for Android phones where I can schedule out messages because if someone has an event coming up or if they said, hey, I've been feeling just down, I will schedule out messages. Hey, you got this, whatever is going on. So they have that. So it is an open communication for whenever they may need me or if I know something is happening. Or if we said, hey, you're going to wake up 3 times a week at 6 a.m. to go to the gym. My text message will send out at 5:59. Hey, are you awake? Are you ready? Are you going? Just as that extra accountability piece. And what I found is that a lot of people, and I'm just people in general, when they have someone else to hold them accountable, they're more likely to do it.
Yep.
Right? And that's usually the biggest problem is like, yeah, I thought I could do this on my own or for a little while. But I was like, until you make it a habit, it may be more difficult than you think. But to have the little, I told my daughter, I said, I'm like the little Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder, right?
Well,
just encouraging you along the way, helping you to guide you. So yeah.
Yes, I like that. So what would a day in the life of like your career be? Like not even talking the fitness aspect for yourself, but like a day in the life since you're doing the group fitness classes, like how often are those? And then coupled with all the coaching, because this is your daily job, right? All day long. Plus being a mom, obviously, and all the other things.
Yeah.
So what would a day in the life be like just for your career?
So usually I wake up to the crack of dawn. It's before the crack of dawn.
Oh my gosh, what time?
Especially with bodybuilding and everything. I have to be early because I like to get in like a devotional or my cardio before my kids and my husband wake up. That's my peaceful time. So I'd rather wake up around like 4:45, 5 o'clock. And if I don't have a client for that morning, that's what I'll do. If I have a client that morning, then I'll do my fitness with them, which is leading them in some type of fitness or training them or whatnot, or we have coaching calls. Not many coaching calls happen at 5 o'clock in the morning, but a lot of working out does. After that, usually take my kids to school, take them to the bus stop. I'll go in for my full-time job as a fitness director, usually some coaching calls within that. After work, usually I'm back training again. And so I'm strength training now in the gym. Then I go pick up my kiddos. And then after that, then we have hours and hours and hours of activities.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So after work, so right now my kids are at the age where they're in everything.
Yes.
And we allow it,
Can you see the age
Oh,
range?
yeah. So I have a 13-year-old.
Wow.
She does volleyball and aerial sports.
Wow.
Which is pretty awesome to watch. And then I have a 10-year-old and she is, I call her professional gymnast. She's not professional yet. She wants to be. She's a gymnast. So that's usually 9 hours a week of after school gymnastics. So competitive gymnastics. And then my son, he just started being interested in things. So we got him into soccer. So depending on the day, we're doing one of the 3.
I know.
So yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
So by the time I get
much.
home, like I said, 9 o'clock, I'm lights out. Yeah.
So at the Y, you're actually like the fitness director, then on top of doing classes too. So that's just another whole thing. So tell us a little bit about that fitness director piece. Like, what does that entail? Are you managing all the everything?
Yeah. So all the fitness. So I manage a group of personal trainers.
That's what I was to say.
So yeah. Okay. So I take on clients too, not too many because my full-time job is pretty demanding.
Yeah.
But I lead a group of personal trainers and just make sure my main goal is to make sure that whatever members come in, whatever clients come in and they need a personal trainer, that they can find one and their goals are met. So a lot of sitting down, having conversations I would have with my normal health coaching, just on a smaller scale to see what they're looking for, what their goals are, and what's the best way to get there. And so that's pretty much what I do all day. And just all the little logistics or the admin stuff behind the scenes that I get to do with them as well. But also developing programming, developing just staffing things as well. So staffing development, and making sure that my trainers are the best they can be with the resources that we do have so that they can provide the best services for their clients as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So your kiddos, going back to their sports schedule, because that's where we're at right now too.
Yeah.
Our oldest being 12 and then 9.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, on the go between football, volleyball, jujitsu, dance, like all the things. And so then that would, as a mom, like that's where I think too, I can see where women are like, it's hard to get your own fitness in because you're just on the go, right? So for like myself, like my lifting kind of takes the back burner during the school year when I'm doing, because I'm doing jujitsu and then all the traveling around, and jujitsu is a great workout for me, but I feel like I don't have the time to lift. And so it kind of goes on the back burner. So what type of advice, I mean, I feel like I've heard you say a few pieces of advice regarding this, but what type of advice would you give to a working mom who's on the go doing all the things you're doing and I'm doing as well?
I say put it in your schedule just like you would any other thing. For my training, usually, ideally, right, I would love to train in the middle of the day, but that's not going to ever happen. And so it has to happen at the crack of dawn. I get my cardio in, and then I go to the gym, or I go to the gym and, do the cardio and the training at the same time. And then I try to time it that I'm getting everything in before I have to be back at home to get my kids up ready for school and for the bus stop. So my best piece of advice is schedule it in so that you have it on your calendar. I literally have it on my calendar, like workout. And usually I don't miss a day at all. But then again, I've been doing this for a really long time. So it's been a part of my routine. And then at night, so I would say schedule it and just make sure others know it's a priority. Okay. My kids, they know in the morning time, they already know what room I'm in and what I'm doing. They know exactly what's happening. They wake up early, they'll come in and do it with me. Like my son is obsessed with abs right now. Obsessed. Like he takes off his shirt and he's like, and I'm like, yep, I see it, buddy. So he'll come work out with me because he wants abs. And I was like, how fun is that? Is that your kids want to be active and they want to do these things with you. And even my oldest, who has the least amount of interest in working out or lifting weights, she's just like, well, I want to be a better volleyball player. So let me lift some weights. Or I want to be a better aerialist. So I got to pull myself up and I have to do all these things on these silks hanging from the ceiling. I need to be stronger. So that's a lot of fun, but schedule it out, because if you don't schedule it, it won't happen. You will lose track of time. You will not have enough time. And that's what it is. And it doesn't matter how long the workout is. It doesn't matter. Give me 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes and just walking around with your kids. When I had to do a certain amount of cardio and I just couldn't leave the house or go wherever, in between my kids' activities or whatnot, I would go walking. And so, or at night when my kids were at home, I was like, hey, y'all, let's go on a walk. Or I'll go on a run. You ride your bikes. So I make sure that it was a priority, but also fit it in where my kids could be a part of it if I didn't have that away time from it as well.
Yep, absolutely. So let's kind of shift gears to the diet piece then. Is there a one size fits all diet for everyone, would you say? Or do you tailor it depending on what each person needs and their, if there's medical concerns and things like that? So, I mean, maybe like, what's your go-to? Like, anyway, go ahead.
No problem. I don't think there's a one size fits all diet as in specifically what you're eating. But I think there's a general idea of how to eat. You want to eat whole natural foods. That is just going to be number one forevermore. You want to drink your water. I have clients who say, no, I don't drink water. Like, I actually don't drink water. I was like, how do you not drink water? But it does happen. And then just in general, being in a calorie deficit, if your goal is for weight loss or fat loss, right? You can't eat in a surplus and expect to lose fat. That's just not how it works. That's not how science works. But then it's tailored towards the needs of my clients. I have one client right now. She just had her third baby. She is trying to lose the body fat, and we have big goals by the end of this year. And I said, okay, we have to do some carb loading, some taking away of some carbs. And when I say lower carbs, I do mean lower carbs. Like, there are always carbs in it. I do love my carbs. For bodybuilding, depending on how close I am to the show, carbs they definitely have to go down.
Yeah.
But in general, you want to have whole natural food. So eat your rice, eat your potatoes, eat these things. It's other ways to get in trouble. So if I'm talking about carbs, and you already said I love pizza, right? Pizza is not a good carb source.
Right.
It is just not. Okay. It is a fun food and it feeds the soul, but it's not going to feed your goals. And so I would say general, whole foods, drink the water, and just watch out where you're eating and making sure that you're in a calorie deficit if that is your goal. And so it can change from client to client. Right. But generally, even if you have any kind of medical, that is pretty standard. You can still do those same things. Right. And then eating foods that you truly love, it will suck. Like even as a bodybuilder, I told my coach, because I have a coach too, I said, listen, this is not going to work if I eat bland, nasty food. Yeah. Like that was like first conversation. We have to figure this out. He was like, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, good. Because everybody else, I've spoken to a lot of different people and a lot of different coaches that say, hey, no, you need to eat ... You got to have asparagus. I don't like asparagus. Okay. You got to have chicken every meal. Don't like chicken that much. You got to have this. Well, we just not going to work together. And that's how it works. And so finding foods that actually give you joy, or finding ways to create foods that you love. It's like there's so much you can do with just a good pan and some nonstick frying, and just go for it. Yeah. So just finding what works for you. And that's part of the nutrition piece that I do. Is that we create a menu together. I don't prescribe anybody menus. Yes. Because I don't know specifically what you love. Like so many people love avocado. Right. I'm like, avocado. Avocado is not my jam. Okay. Like every once in a while, maybe a like this much of guacamole. But other than that, it's not. So healthy fats for me is in the form of nuts or in the form of extra oil in my whatever it is. Yeah. So finding things that really work for you and stuff you actually love, but that go in line with your goals.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Which I figured you were going to say the Whole Foods and things just like that. Foods. What about like drinking and, those fun weekend activities, right? Like, so what about drinking? Like, is it like when you're advising a client, like they got to cut it out cold turkey, or are there alternatives for people?
No, I mean,
when it comes to that,
when we're discussing these things, I'm like, will one drink cause you to fall and drink 10? Or can you handle just one? Yeah. And that's the question. And that's kind of where we go from there, just like with a cookie, And so I'm like, I want you still to live life. Like this is not trying to take away your life. It's really trying to add to it, understanding how to do it in moderation, so to speak. So making sure that, hey, if you know that going out and having this beautiful glass of wine with your steak and it's wonderful and you can keep it there, then I say go for it. Again, if that one glass of wine turns into 2 margaritas and 3 shots, and next thing you know, you don't even know how much you've had, then that's going to be a problem. And that's when we have another conversation on the why. Yeah. Like, why are we doing this? Or why do we feel we have to do this? So yeah, I'm all for working it in the best way we can, as long, again, as we have a plan for the end goal and we're sticking to that plan. And sometimes some walks of life where we just have to pivot. Yeah. And sometimes it works out, but I don't want you to go in there blind or thinking, oh, I can do this. Right. Like for me, if you have brownies with walnuts in it in my home, I may lose it. Like that's one of my favorite cheese. Like when I was pregnant, it was bad. It was really bad. I was like, this is what I love. And I love it to today. And I know that, hey, if I'm making brownies, I don't even put nuts in them. I was like, I won't eat a brownie without a nut. I will not. And I was like, if I get them, I will buy like the smallest bag of walnuts. And I'd be like, okay, I can have like a brownie and a half with these nuts. After that, I don't even want it. And so knowing yourself and understanding, okay, what are my limits? And that does take time. We have this term in, fitness and wellness called intuitive eating. And I like to tell people, hey, it's nice to have that thought, but you can't intuitively eat if you've never tried to eat well. I say once you built the habit of actually eating well and knowing what your limits are, then you can say, oh yeah, on Tuesday night when I went to, this dinner, I could have a small piece of pie, because I'm not going to have the small piece of pie and the ice cream and the this and the that and the that. That to me is intuitive eating, not, hey, we starting off and now I feel like I should eat this. I'm like, we're in week 1. and you have had this for 5 days straight.
Yeah.
You know? And so understanding that as well. So big on nutrition. Again, that's probably number one.
Yeah.
And then mindset is probably up there with it. And then fitness comes out. Because if I can get you to eat correctly and to build a habit off of knowing, you know, what's going to work for you, what's not, then the fitness will slowly come. We can just start by walking.
Yeah.
We can just start by doing that, spending a day in the gym, and that can build over time. Yeah.
Going back to the eating piece, I can attest to like if I have to be 100% regimented on the diet, and sometimes that can come off to people as frustrating or annoying. Like I've heard so many people throughout my life say, oh, come on, it doesn't hurt. You can just cheat this one time. But I also know me, I'm very like, it'll snowball, right? If I have one amazing sweet during Teacher Appreciation Week, then the rest of the week I'm going to have one every day. Well, I already messed up yesterday, right? So like that mentality. And so as a coach, like, I think you kind of already said it where you're like, okay, you have to know where you're at. Like, what type of person are you? Or is this going to mess you up the rest of the week? Or is this going to be something you can bounce back from? Do you think it's unhealthy to have the type of mindset I have where I'm like, I'm 100%, I quit cold turkey? Or do you think it's, you have to sometimes be that way? You have to sometimes be almost borderline obsessive with it. Because I just know how I am. And I also think that's why so many people have gotten to the point that they're at, because they do give in. And then this is why our society is the way it is, right?
Goes
we all look
way
the way we do.
downhill.
Right. So is it unhealthy to be that way, or do you think it's
I
good
think
to
it
kind of be that
depends
way?
on you. You got to know thyself. Like I'm the same way. It's either all or nothing. I'm like, I don't like to dibble and dabble, because I'll dibble and dabble and it just goes. And that's how I've always been. Like if I am in it, I am all in. Yeah. And so I think it depends on the personality. If you're one of those people, I know plenty of people who say, I can have a bite of this and I don't need any more. Right? I think they have superpowers, because I do not have that. But no, I think it just depends on the person. I don't think it's unhealthy. I think it becomes unhealthy when that obsession becomes more than just an obsession. And you're doing, I guess, alarming things. Or if you get to a point where your health is actually at risk versus, hey, I'm doing this to become healthy. It's like, oh, well, now you're really obsessed with it and it's not doing well for you, or you're not getting enough nutrients just in general. And that can become something much more than just, I'm obsessed with being healthy or staying on plan. It's just like, oh no, you are taking it to the extreme. But I think it just depends on the person and, you know, what circumstances you are. But usually, I mean, in my years of seeing it, if someone's one way or another, they're pretty good wherever they are. It just depends on you knowing, you know, if you can have that brownie or not.
Right. What about substitutions for things? Like, for example, like chocolate chips. I know when I did keto back in the day, like I would buy the Lily's chocolate chips because they seemed better, right? But like, I mean, substitutes, do you recommend like substituting any of those things? Like
in the sense of sugar-free?
Yes. Like,
I'm not a fan of sugar-free. No. I don't like the taste of it. But if it helps you get closer to your goal, as long as you aren't... Right. Because sometimes it can be extreme. Like, you got sugar-free everything. So basically, you're just doing the same thing without the sugar. And sugar-free things, especially if you have gut issues or you just had a baby or whatnot, it could cause more issues than regular sugar. So at that point, I say, okay, what are things you want to have sugar with? All right, let's monitor it versus you going sugar-free with everything. It's just like, I'm still having a sauce. You're still having the same habits that you had before. It's just sugar-free now. Right. And how much more is that going to help you, especially with your mindset, than if not? So I'm game for good substitutions. Like, I love me some protein pancakes, right? I like the idea of them. I don't always eat them because sometimes I don't like them. But I like the idea of them. I'm like, oh, I can put protein powder in instead, or I can use bananas because it gives me a hearty meal, but it still gives me the idea of a pancake. Right. Those type of things I'm good for. Again, using whole foods. Protein powder is something that I substitute in every once in a while because I'm usually, it's very rare that I drink a protein shake or powder or anything like that. But when I do, I'm like, oh, that was nice. And then, a month go by and I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I want another one.
Same.
So yeah, I just, in moderation, it becomes a thing that you're substituting everything because you have to have that taste.
Right.
Then again, it goes back to that mindset and let's figure out the why.
Right. Or if you're having too much of it because you're like, well, it's sugar free. And then you maybe have
like 12 Diet Cokes.
Yes. Then maybe that's probably,
what are we doing?
You're still having the bad behavior, right?
Yeah.
Like it's, I get that. All right. Well, can we talk a little bit about your newest venture? Well, okay. So let's talk a little bit about the world of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I think this is so intriguing, and I would love to kind of drill it down, like the process, and kind of like how you got into all of that.
Yeah.
So could you back up maybe to your previous competition and then the most recent one, and tell us a little bit about the world of bodybuilding?
The world of bodybuilding. So after I had my third baby, I wanted a challenge, and at that time, a new division had popped up in bodybuilding world. Okay. So in women's bodybuilding, there is women's bodybuilding. So you're talking on like just big muscles, just these women who've probably been training for like 20 years. They're just big. And then you kind of come down in size as you go. So you have like figure, physique, and then you'll have wellness, and then bikini. Bikini is the smallest of them, but it's more like I'm built like a track athlete. Okay. Right. And then you have wellness, which is I'm just built bigger on the bottom than on the top. Okay. So still muscular, I call it pretty muscle, right? Yeah. And so I can walk around, and people may or may not know, but it's not overwhelming, but it's nothing to scoff at, if you will. Yeah. And so that division came out, and I said, ooh, I've always had a bigger lower half. I want to try this out. Yeah. I want to see what it's like. Fast forward like 6 years, right? Because I just had a baby, and that was a hard pregnancy, but it was also very tough to get back into fitness after that one too. Yeah. And so I said, well, last year was 2023. I said, okay, I'm going to hire a coach, and I just want to dibble and dabble. Like, I'm not sure if I'm competing yet, but I want to see where it leads me. I had my first coach and then realized that wasn't going to work out. Okay. So I said, okay, let me find another coach and see if I can really work this thing and figure things out. That's what I found my current coach. And we started working together. I said, these are my goals. This is what I hope to do. And it was a very enlightening conversation, because it's like, okay, I've been in fitness my whole life, but fitness and bodybuilding are like night and day. In that I'm used to group exercise. I do and dabble in the weight room, but nothing serious. And then I went from that to the serious is the weight room. Like, I'm spending 45 minutes to an hour every day in that weight room, with the exception of Sundays, because that's my Sabbath. Yes. I have to sleep. But yeah, and so it started off there. And then there was the diet. And that's when we had to have a conversation, because I said, you got asparagus and avocado on this. It's not going to work.
Don't agree.
Not going to work. We got to figure out something. And so with my background in nutrition and everything, I just used a lot of macros, and I figured out what I could eat and what was good for my belly too. Because at that time I was really struggling with belly issues, gut health, and just foods just reacting negatively to my body. Again, whole foods, good foods. Yeah. But they just didn't like my belly at the time. So figuring that out. And so once I got the coach and we got the training plan down, the first, that was January. And so from January to about June was supposed to be my first show. So I had a 6-month prep. My first show actually only had me as a competitor in it. And so I said, well, the whole point of stepping on stage is to win, and I can't win against myself. Yeah. And so I ended up doing another show in July and traveled down there with my family, with my mom and my daughter, because she wanted to see. And at that time, nobody knew I was bodybuilding. Like, it was a well-kept secret. And it's not because I didn't want to tell people. It's just because I wasn't sure that I was going to do it. Yeah. And I didn't want to say, hey, I'm going to do this. And it ended up doing it. Right. So it wasn't until maybe a couple of days before my show that I actually told people I was going to do it. Wow. And it was very few people. So I ended up going to Florida for my show of all places, which was a lot of fun. And got on the stage, and I just said, hey, I may hate this, but today is going to be fun. It's going to be great. And some background with, bodybuilding. It really is a pretty muscle glam show, because there is makeup involved. There is tanning involved. It's so fun. It is. Oh my gosh. And I said, this is my first show. I don't know if I love it. And now they have all those services. So I self-tan. I just bought a tanning kit.
Yeah.
And me and my mom just went to town on this body.
Okay.
And then we had to do makeup or glam makeup.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I can do some every day, but glam is totally different.
Yeah.
So me and YouTube University, we got together.
Yeah.
And I just looked at a video on YouTube and I said, well, we're going to take some time and figure this out.
Yeah.
So an hour later, I had on my glam makeup.
Wow.
And that was my first show. And I went on stage. I got off stage and I said, oh, I love this. When am I going to do it again? I literally called my coach and said, let's book it. And so after that, my show actually ended up being the weekend of my daughter's first gymnastics competition. So I was like, well, we're not doing that. And then thereafter, it was just like every weekend. So I was like, okay, we'll just wait until next year and do another one. And so that's kind of how I got started. And again, I didn't know if I was going to love it or hate it. Ended up loving it. And so brought me to this year, which has been a really, really tough year. So which each passing month, I was like, I have no idea when I'm going to be ready, if I'm going to be ready. I knew I was going to do a show by December 31st. I had no idea when.
Yeah.
And then it's been a lot, but I made it through. So fast forwarding to this show, probably 3 weeks out, a lot of things went wrong. Like a lot of things. I had family and friends coming to see me. None of them ended up being able to come because of just random things. It was like, what's happening? And my coach at the last minute, he got called into another job and he couldn't make it. It was a lot going on. And then my belly was not happy. And I said, I don't know why. I told my sister, she said, we're putting on tan. She was like, how can you be so lean, but your belly be so big? I said, I don't know. And this is the show day. And I said, you know what, Lord, you brought me here. We're going to figure this out. I'm already here. I'm going to get up on that stage and do the best that I can with everything that has happened this year and everything that's going on. And so I got on the stage and I'm just chumming it up with everybody because really there were no nerves. I had no expectations because I had done all the work. I did not miss a workout, which that's something I'm so proud to say. And with my nutrition and everything, I was like, I did everything I could do right. Now the results are just what they will be. And I know that it's been hard and things have happened this show that did not happen last show. And that, oh man, my suit, my actual suit, which if you don't know, those suits are not cheap. They are pretty expensive. And they are not bathing suits. Let me just say this. A lot of people think, oh, it's just a bathing suit. It is not a bathing suit. They are thick and heavy and there's a lot going on with them. The crystals on my bottom started falling off. Oh no. So they're connectors. And I was like, there are 2 layers and one layer fell off. And I was like, well, if the other layer fell off, I won't have any bottoms. Oh, no. So I said, I need just to make it through the entire show. Right. They did, thank God. Oh, goodness. So it was a good day. So my expectations were really low. So when they called my name last and I won, it was like a shock to the system. Wow. It was a complete shock. And I was just like, that just happened. Wow. It was wild. It was incredible though, but by far probably one of the most remarkable moments of my life this far. Yeah.
So to tell everyone, you won specifically the categories that you won in. Can you explain
so I competed in women's wellness. So I won the master's division, which in bodybuilding is usually 35 and older, and there can be various ones. It could be 45 and over. It could be 70 and older. Like it's wild. Yeah. A lot of different people do it. And then I won the open, which means every age from 16 to 99 can compete in that category. And I won it for that division. Wow. So it was wild. It was crazy. Like I got on stage and I was like, and they were like, oh, she can't contain her excitement. And I was like, it's so unexpected. And it was just like, oh, that just happened. Oh my God. And my sister is like the biggest cheerleader of the world. She is, if I'm the quiet one, she is just the raw one. So if she's for you, she is for you. And I heard her screaming in the audience. She was just going crazy. Yeah. And I was just like, man, this is crazy. So they called my number and I was the last number. I was like,
oh my word.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And this is totally random. But part of winning a bodybuilding show is that they usually give some kind of cool trinkets or whatnot. Yeah. One of the cool trinkets they do give is like a backpack, like these giant backpacks. And that's one thing I was like, if I win, I hope they give me a backpack. I'm like, of all things, I'm like,
You're like,
I want a gym bag. That's what I want. I love me a good gym bag. And that was one of the things that I won was a backpack.
Wow.
And man, I have carried that to work ever since. And I love it. I was like, it can
Okay.
fit my laptop, everything in it, and my
Awesome.
clothes. It's great.
So with that, so speak a little bit about what that brings, what opportunity winning brings for you now that you've
I don't know.
accomplished that.
You know what? It depends on what opportunities come. Last
Yeah.
time I did a show, I had a company reach out and they were like, hey, you want to be a guest person on this exercise, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Why
Awesome.
not? I've been working with that company ever since, which is pretty amazing. And then now as I won my pro card, because so when you win that show, you win your pro card, which means you're a professional natural bodybuilder.
Wow.
And so you can now compete for money. And so whatever my next competition is, I'll be competing for money and you can win that. And from that can come opportunities like sponsorship with different companies.
Yeah.
I talked about this on my socials, but I am a big gum chewer.
Yeah.
Like gum, I will always have gum. You ask, it will be there. And I said Trident Orbits.
Come on, can we
You know, maybe a little unconventional, but it's just like when you can't have sugar or sweets or anything, that gum comes in clutch. And I just love gum in general. So I mean, those are opportunities that can come that I've heard of, you know, others having, or just with nutrient companies or supplement companies, or you just really don't know. You truly don't know. But the most direct way is to compete again and to win a show. And then I can earn money with doing that.
Right. And then the credential that gives you for like with your clients, right? And maybe for your own brand, right?
Yeah,
like everything you're doing in your own
It's like, no, I'm not just
business.
and I've always said this, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be a fitness instructor that couldn't do the things that I was instructing you to do. And that's, you know, not due to injury or anything like that. It was just because I couldn't physically do it. I never wanted to be that. I wanted to, if I'm telling you, you know, this is how you should eat, or we should look at this, or this is how fitness works, I'm going to be doing it as well. And I want to do it well. So did you understand that, hey, yeah, I had 3 pregnancies. And yeah, I purposely don't look like I have 3 pregnancies. Like my whole goal. And I was like, I just want to feel good in my own skin. And that was a big thing to me. That has always been a big thing to me. I want to feel good and confident in my own skin. And the way I accomplish that is through nutrition and working out. And then bodybuilding was just an extra layer of, hey, I've been doing this for 17 years. What can I do more? Or what's a different goal for me? And it has been one of the most fun, rewarding, enlightening goals that I've ever had. And I did it. Like, that's one thing about fitness and nutrition. No one else can do it for you.
Right.
You have to do it for yourself.
Yep.
I can't put the food in your body. I can't make you exercise. I can't push the weight. You have to do it on your own. So when you do accomplish that goal, you know that, oh yeah, I actually did that.
Yeah.
Like I had to have the discipline. I had to have the, hey, yeah, I don't feel good today. Man, I don't want to do this. Man, my kid kept me up all night. My kids, they're so old. I'm like, no, why are you crawling in my bed? Please go to sleep. Leave me alone. But that's part of being a mom.
Yeah.
Like, so I still get up in the middle of the night. I still have these things happen.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, this is my goal. And if I can't get to my goals, even with life, then I want to make sure I do it for me, but I want to make sure my clients know it can be done.
Right.
It may take longer than you ever expected. My training was supposed to be 6 months long, ended up being almost 8 months long because a lot of life was happening. And I said, it just keep getting pushed back, but I'm going to do it. It will get accomplished. So knowing that you can, it probably will take longer than you ever expected, but the goal is still there.
So did you find that it was kind of isolating in a sense of like with the diet and with all the prep and the working out and like it's hard, like you said, it took longer because life happens, right? I know like my nephew and my family has done bodybuilding and that was probably the hardest part because after you do it for so long and you see the rest of the world still going on like normal, there's always gonna be birthday parties, there's always gonna be events where you have to like battle all of that. It's a mind game, right? Almost in a sense. So like how did you cope? What was it for you that kind of helped you get through those really hard days? I will speak to, I follow Aisha obviously on social media, and there were days where you were like, I'll be honest, it's hard today, guys. And then you still pushed through, and I saw people cheering you on. So what was it for you that like got you through those hard days?
It was the Lord. To be honest with you. This one, it was just him. I said, Lord Jesus, I said, you've given me this goal. You're going to have to help me today because I am losing it. Yeah. Or like there were some days, and it doesn't happen all the time, but I was just like sitting in my car and just crying. Yeah. It's just like, I can't do this. Like, and with bodybuilding, this is one thing that maybe a lot of people don't say. When you're going without for so long, right? We have to be on a calorie deficit. You have to train hard. There can be an emotional toll on you. Like just emotions that you're just like, why am I crying? It was, godly. I think it was like someone got my order wrong for whatever reason. Yeah. It was like one thing was missing. I'm just crying. I said, girl, you got to get your life together. Like, that's not going to work. And I said, Lord, I know it's because I don't have no carbs right now. And it was fine. And I was just like, yeah. So a lot of prayer. Truly a lot of prayer. I said, okay, this year, the Lord, that has been my rock because I've been hitting rock bottom, and that has been my rock, and it has been hard, and not just bodybuilding, just life stuff. Yeah. But it creates a grind in you. Like you have this grit that you have to dig so much deeper. And in order to do that, I had to look to him. And so that has been my source of, okay, let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. And then I have friends. Yeah. Who they know what I'm going through, or they'll see it, or I say, y'all just pray for me, and they're like, we got you. Good. So yeah, that's been one of the biggest things just to get me through.
Awesome. Yeah. So and then I had a few more questions about the whole bodybuilding piece. So if you could even now speak to a day in the life of one training or preparing for a show. And I know like if you're talking a 6-month period, there's probably maybe you're training for or different aspects of it throughout. Maybe it ebbs and flows what you're training for, I guess, too, at that point. But like, cause I have questions about like how many meals you're eating in a day. Like when does posing come in? Like does this coach you have, he probably, it was a man, right? Yeah. Probably guided you in all of those things. So I'm just curious about all of these things. Can you break this down for me?
Okay. So if we go for the last 3 weeks, this is probably the most involved, right? So I wake up and usually I'm doing like 45 minutes cardio. That's the first cardio. And then after that, I'm probably training because my kids have to get on the bus. Most of my prep, well, during the summertime, I have a little bit more loose of a schedule because I don't have to get anybody to school. But that's usually what it looks like. Meal 1 comes right before, like, so my 10-year-old, she is wonderful and she loves to cook. So I've taught her how to cook my breakfast. So while I'm finishing up my training, she's in the kitchen cooking up my eggs, my egg whites, my toast, whatever it is. And so she's cooking for me. And so usually that's when I have my first meal. Okay. And then throughout the day, I'll have meal 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 5th meal is optional. So usually it's something light. It may be a protein shake. It may be a couple of eggs or whatever it is. If I get to the end of the day and I'm hangry, and usually I like to end with cardio. I actually like to eat cardio or do cardio after my last meal. Because for whatever reason, I'm usually not hungry after cardio at all. Yeah. And so I just get it over with. Everything's digested, drink my water, and go to bed. So that is what my training and my meals look like. And then in between that, I'm usually working. Usually I work until the kids get off the bus stop. So maybe 4 o'clock. Yeah. Go pick them up. Yeah. We do all the activities. Yes. If I have to do more cardio, then usually literally they may be in the middle of a soccer. And since it's on a soccer field, I'll go run around the track and get it in as much as I humanly possibly can. Yeah.
Did you ever find yourself before bed, like 8 o'clock at night, still having to get in another cardio session?
Plenty of times.
Yeah.
All the time, especially certain days of the week when my kid has gymnastics.
Yes.
It is at a gym. It is at my gym. Nice. And so that helped because I could get in my cardio. But if I didn't, 9 o'clock at night, I'm on the treadmill. Yeah. I bought a treadmill when I first started prepping because I was like, I can't get in all the cardio that's needed right now and go out to a gym. Right. Like, cause I'm going to be working out at odd times of the morning. And so it was a lot of that. And so whenever I could get it in, but I try to make sleep a priority. Cause oftentimes when you don't get sleep, it can create just issues, but also it makes me more hungry. Yeah. Like my hunger hormones go crazy. And if they're crazy, I'm just like, I only have 4 or 5 meals that I can eat there is no extra.
Right.
So I don't want to be hangry during the day if I can help it. So just making sure to try to get in that bed as well.
Okay.
But that's usually a day in the life.
And then the meal prep,
Yeah.
like, did you have to plan all that? Did you try to have that done weekends, like meal prepping for the week? Like, so that you had
prior to bodybuilding, I thought meal prepping was super lame.
Yeah.
Because I'm a foodie and I love to cook. So every day I'm cooking. Every day I'm like, if I can cook for every meal, that's what I love to do. But when it came down to bodybuilding, I said I had to figure out what meals I didn't mind reheated over the week. And so usually on Sundays, I'll meal prep through Wednesday. And then Wednesday, I'll meal prep through Saturday. Because I can't, like, there's no way. For me mentally, I can meal prep for the entire week. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, breakfast is fresh every day, and usually dinner is. But for the other meals, I'll just meal prep things that I felt like I can eat multiple times without it tasting weird or me getting annoyed with it or just like, I don't want to eat this. Now, there are plenty of times I was like, it's my favorite food. I do not want to eat this.
Yeah.
And I just eat it. And I'm like, this chicken again. And I'm just rolling my eyes. But you do it, you drink the water, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
So,
I like how you finish with drink the water.
Drink the water. Just drink the water.
What would your family eat then? And would you be the one that would cook that meal too? When you're doing, I know you said dinner was usually hot, like, and then the same thing for breakfast, but like, I mean, you still had to prep all their stuff probably, or does your husband help with that too? Yeah.
Well, one of my oldest, my 13-year-old, she is, I love her so much because she's like me in eating. Will try anything at least once. Yeah. So she will eat anything. Last year, she found out real quick not to eat mommy's prep meals because she ate my meal. We went to ice cream and I was eating while they were eating ice cream, and I went to go get something. I came back. She's knee deep in my fish and my rice and my green beans. You're like, Stephanie, I had a moment. I said, and my kids know if I started to whisper, it's not good. And I was just like, oh my God. I was probably like 3 weeks out from a show. So I am hungry at this point. Yeah. And she was eating my food. And I said, baby, if you want food, I will make it for you. But you cannot eat my food. Meanwhile, she's taking bites of her ice cream, which I can't have. Oh my gosh. She found out real quick. So from then on, I make her meals, a lot of meals that I actually made for herself because she really does love them. For the rest of my family, I make them big meals that they just generally like. My son is super picky. Like, he does not eat much of anything. So I pretty much just have on rotation the meals that he loves and everybody else loves. Yeah. And as my kids have gotten older, they know how to cook certain meals for themselves. Right. So if they want an extra snack, they want an extra meal, they can just dive into that. And my husband, he's super simple. Yeah. He's like, I can have the same meals every single day for the rest of my life, and I do not care. Okay. So it became, okay, let's find out what meals work for most people. Yeah. The supplement stuff that they can cook for themselves. Thank God for an air fryer, because my 8-year-old,
I love an air fryer.
He cooks his meals in the air fryer. And I'm like, hallelujah. So yeah, that's how I kind of worked out the meals. I, make more of the things that my kids naturally like that I eat. And then the things they don't, I try to make meals that can go on for a couple of days, or we'll eat out, they'll have pizza once a week or something like that.
It's definitely just planning ahead too, is what I'm hearing you're saying.
Yeah, there is no winging it. I said, whenever I wing it, it is not good. It is not good at all. Yeah. So it's like I have our, meal plans each week. I have our deliveries of everything we need for those meal plans, because they pretty much eat the same thing every morning with a few variations of things. I eat the same thing every day, which I actually love. Like, my breakfast is my favorite meal of the day.
And you said like egg whites?
So, funny story. I didn't eat eggs until 2.5 years ago. Wow. Yeah. Up until that point, I couldn't stand them.
Eggs are so good for you.
Yeah, I couldn't stand them. It was a texture thing. I couldn't eat them. I was like, I couldn't eat them. I went to Paris. Yeah. And my husband was jet lagged and he was tired and I was hungry. So I walked on down to a little cafe in Paris, and they just had a general breakfast. And my rule of thumb, when I go to a different country or place, I like to eat like the locals. Yeah. Tell me what you want to eat. As long as it's not moving, I'm good. If it's moving, I'm not going to eat it. Yes. And so they brought out this little, it was like a baguette, a croissant, which, man, those croissants, it was like orange juice and coffee and bacon, which is more like Canadian bacon. And then it was eggs. And the eggs looked like eggs and like cottage cheese-ish. It was a very interesting looking, much more soft, like a soft scramble. And so I was like, okay, just try it. You never know. Because every once in a while I would try eggs just to see if I could tear it. Yeah.
Nope.
I ate all those eggs. Like me and those eggs. I came back the next morning, had it again. Came back the next morning. And what I discovered is it's not that I don't like eggs. I just don't like fried eggs or hard scrambled eggs or hard boiled eggs.
There you go.
I like very, very soft scramble. Not runny, but just very soft with nothing on them.
Yes.
Because it smells like eggs. I cannot take it. And that's what I learned. And so for my mornings now, I have like egg whites and eggs. Just depending on where I'm in my training, it may be more or less. And then Dave's bread has been my favorite thing on this earth. Or sourdough. I do like sourdough. And then I may have like chicken sausage if I want to, but most of the time it's just those two things and just a cup of tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your lunches, I think I saw a lot of the rice, like a good carb, I would say. And then like a meat of some sort, whether it was chicken, and then a veggie
fish.
or something.
Yeah, it's some combination of that. This prep alone, I have really loved green beans. I have gone through so many bags of frozen green beans. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
And that's the only vegetable I've really wanted. Maybe a salad every once in a while. But the green beans, and then usually it's chicken or fish. Last prep, I did not want to be around chicken. I didn't want to smell it. It was really odd. It was like being pregnant. It's like you have those aversions, and that was one of them. Okay. But this time, chicken, shrimp, and then fish. Okay. Were my go-tos. At the beginning, I had a lot of beef, so I made a lot of like taco salads, if you will. Okay. And so that's generally eat, and then rice or potatoes, which I love both.
And then how did you kind of dress it up or spice it up? Because I know you said if it's bland or if it's like boring. So like I know there are ways to make it like maybe like hot sauce or like is I don't know if like salsa would be bad. Like,
no, salsa's great.
Yeah.
So I always pick up sauces with no sugar in them because a lot of sauces, a lot of pre-made foods can have a lot of sugar in them, which is like why. But I get salsa, especially if I'm having chicken or if I'm having the beef. So I'll add beef and salsa and like lettuce and rice, which was phenomenal. And then I just play around with hot sauces, especially hot sauces, specifically the hot sauces that don't have sugar or don't have dairy in them. Okay. Because there's some that do. Most of them actually don't. And depending on what I'm eating, I will change it up with a different type of hot sauce. And then again, a salsa, or I'll make my own salsa. So right now, as simple as it is, I've just acquired a taste for like red hot buffalo sauce. We go through it by the bottle, and my youngest daughter, the 10-year-old, she loves it too. So we literally like 2 or 3 bottles a week. It is gone. And so I'll do that with like some chicken breast, and then some rice and green beans, and that is my jam. And I tell people all the time, I was like, I could totally been on Survivor. I love rice. I have loved rice since I was a kid, and I mean like plain just white rice. Okay, yes, I love it, but I'll add like pepper and stuff like that. But that, for whatever reason, it just sustains you. It makes me so happy. Before I came here, I had rice and fish and green beans and just put a little extra pepper. Now, I will say this. My fish, I actually season well. I don't, I'm not, there's no like just pepper. No, it has to be seasoned. So I'll use my own blend or a blackening seasoner or something like that.
See, fish has never really done it for me. I mean, that's the one. I mean, I can do chicken, I can do shrimp, I can do like, I mean, all the other meats I'm pretty good with, but like fish is just one. I'm kind of like, I mean, I'll eat it if I go to a restaurant, but it's not my number one choice. Okay, like, but
I will say it's easy on my belly. Yeah, like that and shrimp have never been an issue for my belly. So especially in the last like week or so during peak week, which is a whole nother animal, those are my go-tos because I'm like, I know that they won't cause any issues whatsoever. Right. Yeah.
Okay. And then I was going to ask about, I'm losing my train of thought. You had mentioned something about the eating with the meal prep, like right toward the end. Oh, water intake too, I was thinking. Like, is that's a whole like science, right? Behind bodybuilding as well, right?
It can be. And sodium as well. Just making sure you're not getting too much. With me and my coach, there's not a strong manipulation on water or sodium. It's just making sure the intake. So the last week, I was kind of saying peak week.
Right.
This is the week where you want to make sure that any extra body fat or, make sure your physique is really pushing through. And usually what a lot of people will do is bring back the carbs a little bit and then give carbs when you're close to the date so your muscles pop a little bit more. Because then they can look more full, and that's what you want them to look like on stage without looking fluffy, if you will.
Right.
And so part of that is making sure that now usually during that week I'm getting 2 gallons of water, and then it goes down to 1 gallon, and then I'm just drinking as needed the last day or so, especially the day of. So the whole point of the day of is not to drink too much, not to eat too much, because again, that extra little poof in your belly can make the difference between first place and fourth place.
Yeah.
And so you want to just make sure to control the controllables, and then everything else, whatever happens, will happen. So that could be something throughout. And some people do it differently. For me, again, I'm not an extreme person. And when I said, when I had in mind bodybuilding, I'm like, they eat bland foods.
Yeah.
They don't drink, or they stop drinking water so that they can look really dry, which is something they do. I was like, but I don't want to be unhealthy. I want to be as healthy as I can with the sport. And so we still do all the things. It's just in less and less as you get close to the stage. And honestly, the day of, I'm not thinking about food. I'm not thinking about water. I'm thinking about, is my tan look good?
Yeah.
Is my suit right? And don't shake too much on stage. That is all my thoughts.
Oh, I know what I was asking too, going back to the food. After you competed, did I see that you posted something about how like you didn't have like a big craving for anything after you won? Because like we've watched some like vlogs of like bodybuilding, and that's usually what happens, right? Like go for like a cheat meal right after, because it's like something you've missed. Yeah. You didn't have that?
Nope.
You were like,
not either one of the shows. And people are like, when we're backstage, people are like, what you gonna eat? What you gonna eat? I'm like, I have no idea, because I have no taste for anything. It's just not even on my mind whatsoever. And it's just normal stuff that I would love. Like I love a good seafood boil, when they bring it out in the bag with all the seafood. I love that. Like stuff I would normally love. I just
no pizza.
I'm just like, no pizza. That's one thing I will not eat. I will not eat pizza after a show.
Really?
Because I don't want it to destroy my stomach.
Yeah, true.
I'm not lactose intolerant or anything like that. But for whatever reason in my mind, I'm like, pizza could destroy me.
Yeah.
So I haven't had that yet. But yeah, so I don't have any craving. Both times my kid chose the place we went to eat.
Oh.
I said, what do you want to eat, babe? Because I really don't care. We did end up going to Moe's, because I love Moe's queso.
Yeah.
So I got a little thing of queso, and I was like, oh, this is good. But it wasn't, I don't have, and I think it's a lot of way my coach brings me in, right? We're never in a crazy deficit or just doing extreme stuff. So it's like everything has been gradual. And when you're gradual, just like with weight loss, if you drop a bunch of weight all of a sudden, you haven't built up that stamina to hold on to that, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this just happened.
Right.
And you haven't done the work to get there, versus with this and how my coach brings me in, because he knows how I feel about this. It's like, okay, it's a gradual thing. So by the time I get there, it's like, I'm not hammering for food.
Right.
After my last show, all I wanted to do was go back on my meal plan.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I have a taste for. That's all I want to eat. It's so bizarre.
Cool.
Yeah. But I will eat other things. Like literally after the show, I got straight on a plane and went to Paris.
Yeah.
So
I know. I saw that. I was like, what? She's in Paris
I did that.
now?
That was crazy. I was like, this is just how the cookie crumbled, if you will. And then of course I can't be on meal plan in Paris. So I ate whatever I felt like. My literally my breakfast probably looked the exact same. Because every place, like I already told you about my breakfast in Paris, but it was just normal. I tried a few different coffees, if you will.
Nice.
If I was going off. I tried this amazing mocktail. So I tried like other stuff that I wouldn't usually eat.
Yeah.
But no cravings after.
Yeah. What was something you maybe learned about yourself through that whole process, the bodybuilding process?
I think I learned more that you really can't control things. Like you can try, right? And there's some variables that you can work well with, but sometimes life just happens and you cannot predict it. It just does. And so I've learned that I can be more resilient than I thought I could, even with doing a show before, and that things can go completely wrong. And you just have to go with it. It was probably maybe 4 or 5 weeks out. And I was like, what will be, will be. That people ask you, how you doing? What will be, will be. That was my whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to keep living and being happy and keep doing the best that I can. I'm going to do everything that I can, but I don't know the outcome. Right. And I think sometimes we put a lot of our chips on the outcome.
Right.
Like, this is what should happen. Instead of saying, hey, I'm going to do everything to get me there. And the outcome will be what it is, because you can't control everything. And so that's probably my biggest lesson, from at least doing this show, is that what will happen will happen.
And we talked about like your biggest sense of support. So going back to the premise of this podcast, the premise being strong, successful women. Yeah. What would you say makes you a strong woman and or successful? And like, what's your like definition of that? Like both of those terms.
I think it's walking where you should be. Right? Walking in what makes you, what makes you tick. For me, if you would have asked me when I was in college, would I be doing fitness and health coaching and all that? I would have said, no, I'm going to be a doctor. That is my goal in life. And then I just fell in love with it, and I fell in love with helping people. I fell in love with helping women see how strong they can be and what they really can do. Because oftentimes, even with like in my career, I've done great things and I feel good about it. Yeah. But I was like, the hardest thing was to do the thing that only I could do, which is making myself get up, go to the gym, making sure that I ate right, despite everything that comes on, because there's a lot of noise going on, right? And so to be strong enough to do that and just say, hey, I'm going to be resilient enough to do that, but also to show other people that they can do it. Within whatever career, whatever it is. So I think really just being that strong woman means that you are doing what you were made to do, and you're doing it well. So whether it is being a stay-at-home mom and you are just wonderful at it and you love it, then do that well. Whether you're supposed to be a cardiologist, do that well. A school teacher, do that well. Or entrepreneur, do it well. And when you do something you truly love, like, oh yeah, this is my jam, then it shows versus, you do something you hate. Right. It doesn't, I wouldn't say it exudes strength. It exudes tiredness. That's when we look weary and, all these things. So being strong enough to say, I want to do this, or I'm going to do it well. Or even if it's something you don't love at the moment, you still do it well. So showing strength in that.
I love that. One of the quotes I love that I share with my kids, and I'm going to butcher it. It's a Martin Luther King quote where he talked about, like, if you've been called to be a street sweeper, then be the best street sweeper that even all the hosts of heaven would say, here, look, he did his job well. Yeah. Like, and I love that because you said the exact same thing. Like, whatever you're called to do, live in it, do it, and do it to the best of your ability. I always think of, to glorify your God in heaven too, right? Not doing it for men, but like to do your very best. I love so good. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, singing. So, for those listening, I used to go to church with Aisha, and I actually met her doing choir at Transformation, and so you still sing, right? Is that one of your passions too? And
it's something fun I do.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it's a passion. I would say well. Like I said, what are you called to do? Yeah. The Lord did not call me to be a singer, okay? He called me to make a joyful noise in the choir. And that is my lane. And I just love it for the camaraderie, and it's just fun. And I love to worship in general. Yeah. And so I'm like, I will sit here in my alto voice and I will go to town in this choir. And so that's something I just love to do. When I have the opportunity and the time, I'm like, I want to get up and I want to do that. And just serve in that way. But I joke with my husband. I said, listen, the Lord did not give me a powerful voice, right? Like a great one, like Whitney Houston. Yeah. Because I don't know where I would be today. Okay. So he gave me a quiet voice. So I just sing for the Lord.
So funny. Hannah made a comment. She's in chorus at school, and she's like, I got picked for the alto section. I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, I was an alto, or I am an alto. I'm like, what do you mean? There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. She was like, all my friends are in the sopranos. I'm like, oh, Hannah. I'm like, they have all the hard parts, the really hard parts. You got the cool parts. You can harmonize. You can do so good.
I think she's such a better singer being an alto.
No, that's what I said.
Take it.
And like I said, make a joyful noise. I know, but the, worship is just such an important part to me too. It's my favorite part, right?
Yeah.
Like, and again, I may not be the best, but that's just like my favorite part about church in general is just the worship part. So I love that about you. Is there anything that you are excited about or working towards, or a goal that you want to kind of work towards in the future, if you're willing to put it out there for everyone listening?
Well, with the Pro Win, so now I'm a Pro Natural Bodybuilder, which I just put it on social media. I was like, oh yeah, I am that. I am looking forward to my next show next year. So right now I'm in a building phase. I need to build bigger quads, glutes, hamstring, all that good stuff. So looking forward to compete for money, which that would be a new area, but very fun. I'm looking forward to some fun business things that are coming up that are in the works. So just looking to serve more moms, more women.
I love it.
And then just having more health coaching clients, just bringing them in and being able to serve them. I only take a few a year. And that's just because I like to have a lot of focus on the people that I get to serve versus a ton of people at the same time. But I do some group coaching. So I'm looking forward to, small group coaching, because there can be a lot of encouragement in numbers and saying that it's a group versus an individual. I have some who are just like, it's me and you to the end. I'm like, okay. And then there's some like, hey, can me and my 3 friends come and, do this training session or do that? So I'm looking forward to kind of expanding that business and that side of it. And then also adding in another side of it, which hopefully that will be coming soon.
I can't wait.
It's something completely different that I've never done, that I am just over the moon excited for. And it creates just a joy and just that giddy excitement. Like when you're a kid and you're going to your first basketball game, or you're about to play in the first thing, or you're about to go to your first school dance, and you're like, oh, I don't know what to expect, but I'm really excited about it. It creates that kind of that child life joy. But yeah.
Do you think down the line, if you get too inundated with the coaching and this next big thing, that you'll see maybe your daily job maybe change down the line? Or
I'm always open to it.
What God sends your way,
yeah,
right?
Listen, if he says Aisha go this way, I'm like, all right, we're changing paths. You're too sad. It just depends. My heart is to serve as many women as I can. I love that. That is what my goal is in any capacity in which that is. I have clients that stay for 4 months. I have clients who stay for 4 years. So it just depends on where that goes. And if that becomes something grand or lucrative or whatever it is, then I am all game for it. And I want my fitness journey to be an inspiration to others as well. And partly why I do bodybuilding is just to challenge myself, but say, hey, yeah, you could definitely do it. Like if you put your mind to it, you can do it. It's just, do you want to, or whatever your goals are? Yeah.
And if you follow Aisha on her Instagram, I was reading your bio part at the top, and you said about your goals to take women from I can't to look at this thing I just did. I can do it.
I did that.
And I always love your sign off. It's I'm gonna probably mess it up, but your friendly neighborhood health coach? Something like that. Oh, I got it. Yes. Okay. She always says it. It's her sign off. It's so cute. I'm like, oh, I love it.
That is it. And awesome. I will say that definitely comes from the Marvel universe, if you follow Marvel at all. So you asked me about my passions. I wouldn't say it's a passion, but I definitely love Marvel.
From Marvel?
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. All right. So we also hit goals. Anything next on the horizon? We talked about that. Any other, you said also with the languages, you're now diving into Japanese and was it French you said?
Yeah.
Wow. So with going back to that Spanish, you would say you're fluent?
No, I was at one point.
Okay. But
when I lived in Spain,
right,
kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah.
But I've since lost a lot of it.
Yeah. Use it or lose it.
Yeah, exactly. So just diving back into it, I can read it pretty well. I can understand it.
Yeah.
But I learned Spanish in Spain, which is a different Spanish than a lot of what's spoken around here. Yeah. So most of my experience now is just listening to others speak. Yeah. But then the French came along when, third time's a charm. I'm back in Paris again. Yeah. And then I realized I'm just going to be here. And I just love the country. I love the city. I loved everything about it. And I just want to challenge myself. And it's a Latin, base of a language.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I know English. I know a lot of Spanish. Yeah, let's just add French.
Yeah.
And the Japanese come because one day I will visit Japan.
Yeah.
And the hope is to be there for a little bit, so a few weeks or so.
That's
and I
cool.
at least want to understand some words because it's such a different language. So just to say, hey, or can I order this? Or how are you doing? Or bye. Whatever it is, just to understand basic stuff. Yeah.
And one thing I know I didn't talk to you about this beforehand, so I'm just going to throw this out here. One thing I know about you and your husband too, just from what I've observed and just knowing you guys from church and stuff, is just like you talk a lot too about like financial freedom too, and like being able to take all these wonderful vacations. I sit back and marvel. It's so admirable. Like you guys are inspiring. Like you're like, but listening to you talk about like your show, for example, you did what you could. Like you were capable of doing, like doing the makeup, or how can I get the most bang for my buck by doing my own tan, or what? Because bodybuilding can be super expensive. So like,
it can be.
I love that you guys have really you practice that. It seems like you're doing great. Do you have any words of wisdom surrounding that, like for anyone? I mean, that's like.
Just watch where your money goes.
Yeah.
It's like basic stuff, really and truly. But I will say for my husband especially, he's always been a financial guy.
Yes,
I'm talking like when he was like 9 years old. He was like, I need a bank account and I'm putting this money here. His dad was an entrepreneur, so he got to work at a young age and he loves saving money. He's big on that, but also even bigger on investing. So investing in things is gonna make you money. And so his thing has always been that. And so just getting married, we were able to pay off our house very quickly.
Wow, that's good.
And so we pretty much live debt free. We have really recurring bills except normal stuff. And then with my job and with health coaching and everything, I just choose what I really want to do versus, hey, I'm just throwing money away. So a big thing that's important to me right now is bodybuilding, which I made sure I definitely, looked at everything and said, hey, where can I save money with the things that I do? Even my suit. I was like, no, I'm not going to pay $1,500 for a suit. Yeah, it can get crazy. It can get crazy. I said, okay, what's in my budget and where can I find it? And so I did that. And then with the travel, I just have my happy little travel fund. That every time I don't buy, this meal from it, I just put it in my travel fund. And then even when I travel, usually I travel with a good friend of mine, especially to Europe, right? I'll do local places. And me and my family travel with each other or with our extended family. But if I'm traveling to Europe, usually I'm like, okay, what is the cost? Or how can we keep it under a certain number? And she's the same way. We are very conscious when it comes to that. And so when you have somebody who's like that, you can travel a lot of places on a budget and travel very well. So we look at stuff like we do a lot of research. That's what we did. Because I was like, my goal is to travel overseas at least once a year. Okay. And so just looking at that and the cost of it and just making sure I have it. And it does help to have multiple streams of income. Right? I don't just have one or two. I have multiple. So it helps a lot too.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it seems like we can learn a lot from you. Everyone can learn a lot from you. I love that. And it just seems like I think that if you have your health in check, right? The world is kind of like your oyster, right? Like there's like you have to start with yourself before you can manage all the other things in your life. And it seems like when people are maybe, I don't want to say this word, but like where one part might be messy in their life, then it can kind of permeate into other areas of your life. And that could be money. It could be, like just everyday problems or just even your self-esteem, how you feel, right, about yourself. So I think it definitely has to start with like you, like reflect inward and like on how you look outward and how you're feeling too. And also the older I'm getting too, like it's no longer the vanity of it, right? It's like looking at, hey, I'm older. Like I need to take care of my body.
So that I can get older.
Like, absolutely.
We're trying to get older here. So your health is really your wealth, and it trickles down from there. But also just taking a look at that creates a discipline in you for other things. Yes. When I'm in, especially this is this is one thing I did learn in bodybuilding prep, is that the more disciplined I became in that, the more disciplined I became in everything else. And that's from my job, from my health coaching to my kids. It was just like everything had to kind of, hey, this is what we're doing and this is how to get there. And so created that because I was like, I don't have the energy for it not to be like this.
Yeah.
You just don't. And I was like, wow, this is wow. That was probably the most unexpected thing from this journey is the discipline and how it trickled down into other areas of my life and how all of a sudden there was a lot of focus in a lot of different things. And that because maybe the food noise was gone.
Yeah.
Because it can get really loud or you're looking for other things to do or just, hey, this is the amount of hours I have in a day. This is how I want to allocate those. This is how it has to be done as much as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Wow, I've learned so much from you. Is there anything else that you think I left out or that you would like to talk about before we kind of close up today? Or
I think we went on a nice little roundabout of my entire life.
I know.
I loved it.
Wow. You've done so much and it's just so admirable. I would love, I did tell you, I mean, it would be, I think there's something alluring about like the bodybuilding world.
Yeah.
Just the fitness world in general too. Yeah. There's a part of me sitting over here saying, I know I'm not supposed to be jealous, but I'm like, oh, just the, like your daily life of like helping other people, like train their body, right? Or to, you know, tune out the food noise. Like those are things I just admire and I would love, I want it for myself so badly, but I would want that for other people too. Cause you look around and so many people just need or are crying out for help when it comes to this specific topic.
Yeah.
So keep doing what you're doing. You're a good example to everyone. And I love that your target audience is mostly women, right? And like moms, right? Because that's, we need it.
No, yeah. I'm like, no. Your whole life won't be this or that or no. You can still feel good and look good and do the other things. It may be harder. It may be this, it may be that, you know, but hey, we do the hard things. It's like, we do the hard things. This is just something else. And honestly, once it becomes a habit, tell people, just like brushing your teeth.
Right.
You don't get up and think, oh man, I got to brush my teeth.
Right.
Oh, I got to get the toothbrush. Now I got to put the toothpaste on. Now I got to brush the top. Now I got to brush the bottom. Now I got to brush. You don't think about all this. You just do it. Yeah. And once it becomes a habit, you know, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I get up, I go to the gym. I don't think about it.
Right.
Then you can keep on going, but it has to become a habit first. And just like with anything else, we push through.
Yep. Absolutely. I love it. So well spoken. Love it. All right. Well, if we are all set today, we're going to go ahead and sign off. I would like to invite all of you that are listening to support us. Our Gunz and Bunz merch is now available at gunzandrolls.com. We have a little bit of everything for everyone. We have everything from rash guards, shirts, hats, bags, stickers, and more. So check us out at gunzandrolls.com, and thank you for your support. If you've enjoyed this episode of Gunz and Bunz, we'd love for you to share it with someone you know who could use a little inspiration today. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Gunz and Rollz channel so you never miss a new Gunz and Bunz episode. Thanks for being a part of the community. We appreciate you. Bye.
Welcome to Gunz.